We in there. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Tekken. No. With your boy L Train, yours truly. I already know what it is. First off, happy hump day. It's Wednesday, so we almost there. You know what I'm saying? Week almost over. You know, Friday Eve is hours away. Um, so I hope everybody Wednesday been going smooth. CEO is literally that close. I can't wait. I'm hyped. Looking forward to this weekend. Playing a lot of good people, having fun, the whole nine. Yeah, man, I'm geeked. I'm excited. But aside from all that, let's get to why we here in the first place. We are here to go over punishment. Yep, that P word that you hear flying around in general when it comes to fighting games. Now, you ask, what is punishment? Punishment is basically taking advantage of your opponent's mistakes, pretty much, and getting damage off of that. Pretty much, this is capitalizing on defense, basically. And in many ways, of course, you can turn defense into offense. So, like I said, plenty of ways, plenty of things you can apply when it comes to punishment. Now, first off, let's start off with the basic concept. So, in order to really get a grip on punishment, knowing frames really helps, because once you know frames and begin to understand them, it'll help further you a little bit faster when it comes to punishment. Of course, you can get in the lab and just have, say the dummy do something and then test what you can do. But for the most part, having frames makes that or knowing frames makes that a little bit easier. So, with that being said, since I'm already in practice mode, because I'm pretty much, like I said, just gonna go right into it. But basically, one thing I do, you want to start at the ground foundation when it comes to punishment. So that's pretty much like knowing how to do the basic punish of each move. Like, of course, you can record and add movement and try to, do it with different scenarios, but you gotta start walking before you start, or you gotta start crawling before you start walking and running. So, pretty much, you can go down the entire move list. That's usually what I do. I usually go down the entire move list and just practice to see what I can punish, and whether it's, and there's different forms of punishment, but we'll get to that. Right now, we're just going to start off with basic block punishment. So, block punishment is pretty much self-explanatory. When a move is negative enough to be punished and you block it, that is pretty much when you retaliate. Like, for example, hold on 1 second. It's out here. And one more. There we go. So, like I said, as I was saying, a move. Now, first off, before I get into the demonstration, you want to learn all of your characters, like, key punishes for like each different frame, or for like your 12 frame. If you have a 13 frame one, or then 14, 15, etc., etc. But basically, your numbers, the main numbers that you're really going to be punishing with primarily would be 12, 14, 10, 12, 14, or 15. Some characters, though, I will put in this asterisk. Certain characters do not have a 15 frame punish that can launch. Because usually your launch punishment usually comes in at like 15 frames. And some characters do not have that. So be aware. Some of those characters like Steve, Bob. So, when you're playing certain characters, be sure to learn like all your punishes and what you can do. Just knowing your options pretty much. But we're about to go into the example now. So let's start off just with the first move. Now, that's your basic, jab, jab, string. Now, you can't really punish that's safe. So, you could block it and then press something. Well, I wouldn't recommend, because you can't punish. So, you pretty much just check them if they try to press something at that. Like, maybe give yourself a little bit of space and then jab, do your jab, jab back, because they can't punish it, because that's pretty much safe. Like, jabs and the jab or 1-2, like 1 or 1-2s are generally safe. They're not really punishable. So as you can see, can't do much about that. So let's move down the move list. Now, as you see, just looking at the move, it looks like you do something. Oh, and now you see punish showed up on there as, hold on 1 second. 1 quick second. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, now you see the word punish showed up right there. So which means that move is vulnerable to block punishment. Now, what I was saying, you can get in the lab and experiment with moves. You see, that's a punish, but it's not the most you can get. Now, see, I heard a lot more. So pretty much this move that Claudio is doing, frame-wise, is -13. Now remember I told you 1-2's punch strings are 10 frames startup, which is the fastest in the game typically. So yeah, see baby punish and then bigger punish. And that move is -13. This move I'm doing with Lars, that's 12 frame startup. So you have 1 frame in between that to really react to it. Meaning you gotta be on point with the punishment. So, recognize and then do it. I recommend just doing reps of punishing it over and over and do it from each side, just so you can feel comfortable whenever you see it. And then it's pretty much automatic game here. Because you want to get that in your muscle memory, you want to remember this every time you see it. So, learn your character's 12 frame punisher, they have a 14 frame, etc., like I mentioned. So yeah, as you can see, it's 12 frame punishable. And that's pretty much safe. Your fastest can't do nothing about that. So pretty much, you kind of can understand what block punishment is. And now I'm going to show you an example of getting a launch punish. Now, when a move is -15 or higher, you can go for a launch and get big damage. So, So as you can see, that was a lot more activity as far as damage. A lot more. Just get the launcher and you started up. So pretty much you can pretty much make it hurt once you launch, like it's -15 and higher, your character can launch it. I know, like I said, the few little characters I mentioned, they don't have it, but if the move, they have stuff that is past 15 is the move, because there are moves that are ridiculously negative, and you can just launch or do whatever for free. But yeah, as you can see, the launch punish, you get a lot of damage. So this is why it's key to really know your punishment, just so you can get big damage, as you can see there. So that's pretty much an example of examples of block punishment. So with that being said, now we're going to move on to another facet of punishment, which is whiff punishment. Now, of course, we know what a whiff is when you miss an attack, and therefore, same as block punishment, where you're taking advantage of how negative the person is on block. In this case, you're taking advantage of them missing the attack and the recovery frames that they have of when they whiff and miss, which is usually when you whiff punishes, you're more likely to get a launch, because recovery of a good amount of moves are pretty high. Like say a move recovers in like 30 frames or something like that, just throwing out a number. You could do basically anything at that point. But the key to effective whiff punishment is two keys to it. It's one, having your movement and spacing on point, just so you could be in range, because depending on what type of punishers you got as far as your character, like when it comes to whiffs, because some characters have amazing whiff punish tools, some don't have super great ones. But even with the ones that aren't super great, if your spacing is really good, you can still catch stuff. And then the other thing with the key to not only just spacing, but also knowing how to basically react, having your reactions on point when you see the whiff. So it's spacing, knowing your range, and then reacting. So pretty much we'll have Claudio, for example, do the same move he was just doing. And then depending on what you see when you look at the string that he's doing, you could actually interrupt as well. You don't have to wait for the whole thing to finish. If you use a fast enough move, you can interrupt. And then whenever the situation, if they get too close, like I said, remember block punishment is available as well. So the key is to punish when you can. And that's a trade. So, but basically, you get the overall point. Let's see here. Get that. Oh my God. Oh yeah, you gotta wait for that to pop up. But yeah, like I said, just knowing your frames and not letting your opponent get away with just doing anything is key here. You see, with the first part, and that's counter hit, so you're actually going to get more damage. big damage. Like I said again, you have access to block punishment. Remember that. And then even with, like I said, usually when you block like a big move, it's best to go for the biggest punisher you can. Like if you know the frame and how negative the move is, just so you can get the most damage. But some people may, use certain punishers and then go for it like a setup once they get the knockdown. So there's options. Like, cause even at times the move you use can depend on the situation as well. So with that being said, like you can alternate in between, like I said, the launch punish, or as you can see, if you got one that knocks down, and then go for Okazumi after that, trying to basically, if they wake up into a move, get crushed, things of that nature. So you have options. You have plenty of options when it comes to punishment. And of course, on a movement tip, you have also sidestepping. Now, this is also being aware and knowing when to sidestep, which direction, and each character has a weak side. Each character has a weak side that you can step to, that they're vulnerable to getting punished. Yeah, the phone off. But yeah, so let's see. I think Claudio's weak side. Let me see if I remember. I may have to tap into a resource real quick. Because the new characters, I haven't fully memorized their weak sides yet. I think it's, sidestep to the right, which would technically be his. They usually refer to the character's right. So, yeah. So to your left, his right. As you can see, the move is completely whiffed. And that's sidewalking. So even with the side step, you see the move miss. So you can still punish. Still punish. Still punish. Still punish. Still punish. Still punish. So it's like, and sidewalking is the thing you should do too. Like you can completely avoid, set them up. And, it's just a lot of options. There's actually, if you go to TekkenGamer.com, they have the sidestep guide on what side to step every single character. So be sure to get in the lab, practice stepping which side the character is weakest from. Identify. It's usually, in a lot of cases, depending on the move properties, because some moves may, they may use a right limb, but it tracks to the left, or your left, which is their right. So it'd be best for you to step the opposite direction. So it's definitely going to take some time, like sitting in the lab and exploring your options. So to get real good with it, like I said, go to TekkenGamer.com, download the guide, and be sure to, like I said, go down the move list. Because one of the regimens that I usually do is I go down, like, there's also another list. It's drunkenshard.com. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for y'all, just so you know you can have this resource, because it's a very important, very good resource. These are the moves that you probably want to make like a priority practicing consistently. So, and There it is. There you go. That's for y'all. But yeah. So that website is every character in the cast and their top 15 moves. So you want to peep that list and practice punishing those moves. Because those, I tell you, the list is pretty spot on. I looked at it myself and I pretty much agree with everything they put just about. So get that list, study that list, study punishing those moves, whether it's block punishing, whiff punishing, sidestep, the whole nine, and and pretty much consistently do it because you want to put this in your muscle memory to the point where when you see it, it's automatic. It just goes off like, oh yeah, okay, I'm reacting to it. Okay, I got it. I know this punish. I know what I could do here. And like I said, it's just knowing your options. Now me, I practice like the key moves, but I also go down the entire move list. Like I would literally sit in the lab, pick a character, and for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, like just seeing what I could punish, like seeing what's punishable, and then practicing making them with, and just capitalizing on the situations that I see. So it's like it's important to consistently practice this if you want to be good on defense. As you see, made them completely with. Now I'm gonna touch on this now. As I brought up whiff punishing, this form of punishment will probably take, I would say, time to like really master. And the reason why I say this, like, some people may say block punishment, but it's pretty much just literally math when it comes to block punishment and reactions. So you pretty much just have to get the reaction to when you block a move to punish it. Whereas whiff punishing is a little more to it because you have to understand the range of where you should be at, and also if it's a string or a long reaching move, like where to effectively make it whiff every time so you can pretty much catch it. Like case in point, this move. That's about the range you can catch it at. Again. One more time. So pretty much knowing and understanding your ranges will get you a long way when it comes to whiff punishing. And it's like I said, it's going to take time. You want to consistently, because movement, of course, is involved. So definitely, like I said, movement practice, as I mentioned in the movement tutorial I did. You definitely want to get good at your KBDC or Korean backdash canceling, your forward dash canceling, just to dance in between that range, like knowing the range that your moves catch. You definitely be aware of the character that you're using and what they have as far as their moves that have a little bit of reach on them. Like, as you all know, I use Lars, so I have a up forward forward. I have a 4-2-1. I have while running 3. If I really got you conditioned, I'll start using that. Or I have 4-4-3, which is a little less risky since I don't have to run forward and you really can't sidestep it as easily as an instant while running 3. And of course, I also have Arc Blast, which is probably the one with the you really have to have your sense of range down to hit Arc Blast because you can be at point blank or the move comes a little bit outside of sweep range and then you do it. So it's just knowing your character's tools, and then of course, and I have 4-2-4 as well. So if I'm right here, then that 4-2 has a nice amount of range. As you can see, it's about sweep range, and yeah. So you definitely want to recognize where you're at and what tool you could use that would be most effective to get you a good whiff punish. And if you can get that launcher, where you can get the launcher consistently, then hey, more power to you. But like I said, this form of punishment will take more time to master than block punishment. Because block punishment is simply just knowing the frames and then reacting. That's pretty much block punishment. That takes practice as well, because like I said, reacting. So be sure to get in the lab, grind, and get to it, man. Because like I said, it's gonna take practice. All that damage just because you capitalized on a mistake, a whiff, or you stepped the right way and then got the punish. But for the most part, yeah. So everybody, be sure to get in the lab, practice everything I told you, and if you have a more intricate, or you want a more intricate breakdown, or actually want a session where I run a lobby and we have mics on and I talk to you and tell you, you know, try to help you out as much as I can with your character, then we can do that as well. But that's pretty much punishment in a nutshell. And this is not just, you know, exclusive to Tekken. Punishment is a general fighting game concept. I highly suggest that whatever game you play, whether it's this, Street Fighter, Injustice, Guilty Gear, whatever it is that you play, learn punishment. Do not let your opponent get away with anything or with too much of anything, and you have the knowledge and information to stop it. Because punishment can literally like turn the tides of a match. If you consistently punish well, you'll realize, you know, without you, because a lot of people like to, you know, win fights by just going on the offensive and trying to pressure your opponent. But defense does matter, because if you play a solid enough defense and you're punishing consistently, you're going to look at that health meter and be like, I haven't even started my offense technically, even though you're turning your defense into offense, which that's pretty much what you're doing. So that's why this is a good skill to have in your you know, your toolbox. You know, yeah, mix-ups and all that stuff is cool, but having a solid defense and punishing consistently is very underrated. It's very underrated. It's a skill by some players that's looked down upon, but to me it's very important. It's something that I try to practice consistently in whatever game I'm playing. Even in Street Fighter, if I know something is punishable, I punish it. And it's very vital to get this, in my opinion. It's very vital to have this skill in your tool belt, because it definitely make matches feel won't feel as tasking, because you're not letting your opponent get away with a boatload of stuff. You're not missing out on potential damage. You're not, there's a lot of stuff that you're allowing to happen to yourself that could shift the momentum of the match. And that's what you want as you know, you're trying to win. So obviously you want the momentum in your favor. But yeah, man, as I was stating, that's punishment in a nutshell. I said, get in the lab, practice. Again, also practice your movement, because that's part of whiff punishing, is to being able to move and dance within the range to catch a whiff. Even though, you know, since it's a 3D game and moves are like slower than 2D, you still have to have the movement and reactions to whiff punish consistently. Meaning almost anytime you see a button whiff and you ready to punish it. So That being said, that wraps up punishment tutorial. Now I'm actually playing a little bit of rank for a minute before I hop off and get ready to go to this baseball game.